Greetings, Ambazonia. Greetings. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are tuning in. Thank you, Alino. Uh, Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are tuned in. So if you just tune in and then share, good afternoon. I know in your time will be different. Today is December the 13th, 2018, the beginning of the end of this year, 2018. And thank you, Alinos, for joining in. Thank you, Ambazuni, for joining in. Thank you, Mamba, for joining in. Here again, this is Daniel. Thank you, Pascal, for joining in. Uh, greetings to all of you. Um, for all the fellow citizens of our brothers and sisters that are in ground zero, we are thanking you for the spirit and momentum of being able to defeat our enemy. We are at war, and we will never relinquish our effort and the sovereignty of our people. We stand together with our people together, and we will overcome our enemy. We are not a conquered territory, neither we were uh, a colonial territory of La Republique. Thank you, Akko, for joining in. If you hear from the great state of Texas, thank you for tuning in. If you elsewhere around the state, here in the intercontinental state of the United States, whether California, elsewhere, thank you, Adams, for joining in. Wherever you are, just want to thank you. If you are in Russia, you are in Europe, you're in South Korea, North Korea, uh, wherever you are, China, the neighboring country, La Republic. I just want to take a moment, thank you for all the effort and the momentum that we all have built up. Thank you, Mr. Urko. Thank you for tuning in. The momentum and the spirit that we have built up, we will never relinquish our sovereignty over the enemy of La Republique. Remember, La Republique is desperate, but unfortunately, we have harassed them. They are in our palms, and we will never let them go. You know, we we have asked them to relinquish their supremacy over our homeland. We will never, in any circumstances, allow La Republique to get hold of our territory. You know, we are in grip of them, and they are lacking the oxygen to breathe. And so the valve, and that we need to keep the valve shut off so that La Republique will not inherit any oxygen, because once the oxygen gets into the cell, they will be able, or get into the lungs, they will be able to breathe. We will never allow the valve of the oxygen so they can be able to breathe. No, they are desperate, but our people will stand together. We know that some of our brothers have sacrificed their lives over the belief on their sovereignty. When the enemy is at home, we must stand firmly. We must stand firmly. We will never take any masquerade of La Republique thinking that they're going to decide. First, let's ask questions, fundamental questions. They have no legal status. They have no legal. There is no international court in this world or in this planet that allow La Republique sovereignty over the people of Southern Cameroon. It's just because it happens that we happen to be the people of the black race. And that is why international community remains silent. And France, the architects that is deciding how Africa must operate. No, Africa must operate at its own terms and not on the terms of the French government. France has its own enough to deal with its own and allow Africa to decide their own future destiny. When the incident that was happening in France, it was the people of France asking for equality, injustice, because of the increase in gas. And yet they yield over to their request. And the president did not have no choice than to yield to the request of the people of France. Because when the citizens can no longer have the means to end, they have to question the authority. In this case, we don't have an authority. La Republique is a neighboring country. It's not a government of the Southern Cameroon. The people of Southern Cameroon must have their own government that they can believe, they can trust, and that they have the authority to question that government. That they have authority to question that government. The government of the neighboring country has no authority over the people of Southern Cameroon. So we are bringing this to the world community, that our people must stand and must stand firmly, and we must fight to the last person. La Republique has no legal authority over the people of Southern Cameroon. And so we must diminish the capacity of La Republique in our sovereignty. I spoke about oxygen, because when you have the oxygen and they are able to breathe, they believe they are alive. But when they are desperate that they don't have the oxygen that they can breathe, because we must shut the valve and keep the valve shut. We must keep the valve shut. Before La Republique is signing a decree that they are releasing our own member of our cabinet, first of all, do they even have authority to even arrest the people of Southern Cameroon? They don't. They don't have in any capacity, any authority, because we must be the people to give authority to someone that's stating that we recognize them. We don't recognize La Republique over the people of Southern Cameroon. We don't recognize the Southern Cameroon. That is a design that La Republique must control our people's destiny. No, we must be the deciding factor over the future of our destiny. So I am here letting the Southern Cameroon, the citizens of Ambazonia, that we're going to intensify our barrage over the La Republique. We have asked La Republique that they need to relinquish all the governors, all the senior divisional officers, all the appointees of La Republique. We have asked them to relinquish their hold on the people of Southern Cameroon. They are just playing for time. They think we are going to allow them to control our property. The 56 years that we have with La Republique is enough. It's enough. The 56 years is enough. The 56 years is enough. Let them go and rule their own territory. Let La Republique concentrate on La Republique territory, not over the people of Southern Cameroon. Those mass quarrels that they think they sign, and that our people that disarm. Disarm who? Who are you disarming? Did you create any ammunition to somewhere? No. We, the people of Southern Cameroon, we will no longer take that rubbish from La Republique. We have asked La Republique one more time, relinquish and disembark to your own territory. We never invite La Republique in our territory. We simply ask them to leave, that we can work together and live like equal people, that we can develop the mutual interest of the two nations, not La Republique deciding. A stupid individual called Pobia said he signed a decree and that he that the military should pull the fellow brothers and sisters. We are at war. We are at war. We will gonna intensify, both at home and abroad. We're gonna intensify our barrage of La Republique, and we will see where we're gonna end. Fellow brothers and sisters, we are at war. I am assure you that we are at war, and we're gonna intensify our barrage of assault on La Republique. And all the governors, the so-called governors and so-called divisional officers and so-called whatever they call them, we're gonna intensify our assault on them. We will no longer be romancing with the system. Our people, we got to get this rubbish from once and for all. Once and for all. And so we will have a government that is accountable. Imagine that in France, the citizens of France staged over an increase in fuel prices. The citizens of France, you all saw what happened in France. It's because an increase in the fuel prices without a corresponding increase in the wages or income of the people of France. And that is why they staged. And that is why they dress. The style of dressing was simplified that they were people of working class. The style of their dressing, what they put on was a significant to stage that they are working class and that they need an equality over the people. And they stage a magnificent demonstration, and that yield to the president to cancel whatever he thought. And that is a president elected by the people. That is the president that was elected by the people. And the same people stage that walk out and he yield to their demand. But we have someone that we were never elected him. Who elected Bia? Bia never voted. La Republique voted Bia. In a recent election, whom he claimed that he won the election. Did election occur in the people of Southern Cameroon? No. Southern Cameroon never voted for any election because we don't believe in a terrorist government that lacks accountability, a government that is led by a certain clique of individuals. We will never elect that terrorist. And so we must intensify our barrage on La Republique. La Republique thinks that we are just a stupid people on the street that they can do whatever they can at any time, at any moment. No, I am here to let you know that La Republique will never in any circumstances decide in the future of the people of Southern Cameroon, the people of Ambazonia. We are letting the British government know that the 2-point-something that you signed, all you need to tell La Republique that you recognize the people of Southern Cameroon now, henceforth, as a nation. That is what the British government should be doing. The British government should be telling La Republique that I recognize the sovereignty. The British government has no authority to hand over the document of the Southern Cameroon that was decided at the United Nations to the neighboring country. Why did they not give it to Nigeria? We have a more perfect relationship with Nigeria. The British administrator was residing in Nigeria. During the British administrator was residing in Nigeria. And we have a relationship with Nigeria. Then the new incoming La Republique. Why did the British government tender our document to a country they never have any relationship with? Why? Why did the British government tender our document to the neighboring country and Nigeria that we were more close associated with? They never. They trust a neighboring country, La Republique, over the indigenous people that they are having administrator over them. And they couldn't trust our own people, but they trust a francophone to decide the future of our people. We are here to let the British government that we will no longer have La Republique over the sovereignty. We are at war and we're going to face the enemy. We are going to face the enemy. We are going to face the enemy. We are at war. So we are letting the British Prime Minister Theresa May, that our people will no longer recognize the government of La Republique. We will no longer recognize the government of La Republique. We recognize our own government that we form, and we believe that they, in answering to the people of Southern Cameroon and not to the neighboring country, La Republique, the British thinks that they're going to decide on behalf of the people of Southern Cameroon. No. Tell the British Parliament that the Southern Cameroon is no longer part of La Republique. Tell the British Parliament that the people of Southern Cameroon has moving forward and they no longer be part of La Republique. Tell the British Parliament. Tell the British Parliament. Go down to Egypt and tell fellow, let my people go. This is the word of mighty God. Tell my people go. This is the word of the mighty God. Tell fellow, let my people go. We are in the Southern Cameroon. We're no longer in La Republique. Tell the British Parliament that we, the people of Southern Cameroon, doesn't recognize the terrorist government of La Republique, and that we will fight. We're gonna fight till the last person is killed. We're gonna fight till the last person. We can no longer, La Republique, we will no longer deal with the terrorist government of our sovereignty, of our people. Tell the German Parliament, that we no longer recognize in La Republique. Tell the German Parliament that we no longer recognize La Republique. La Republique is a terrorist government, and we will no longer succumb to La Republique. Tell the German Parliament that our people can no longer be controlled by La Republique. Our people are well educated. The citizens of the Southern Cameroon are well intelligent. They have been to school, they have been educated. And they should decide what belongs to the people of Southern Cameroon and not La Republique. Tell the German Parliament. Tell the German Parliament. Tell the German Parliament. We have an individual here at the United Nations. We have Antonio Guterres. He says in his statement over Twitter that he is a Portuguese. He is a Portuguese. And he is here in New York in a desert, whatever I call it, desert, whatever he described it. Does the city of New York a desert? Does the city of New York a dangerous place? That's the word he used. He used that he left the city, the country Portuguese or Portugal, and now he's the most dangerous place. He abandoned his country. And he described New York as a dangerous place. Who invited Antonio Guterres in New York? If he was better in Portugal, he wouldn't be here in New York. And that is why he's been planted there in New York for collecting bribery. He is the architect of bribery. That is the work of Antonio Guterres, the current, whatever they call it, United Nations scribe, Antonio Guterres. He's the leader of architects of bribery. Bribery is the ample duty of the current United Nations office here in the United States. Our people deserve to be recognized their sovereignty. Our people deserve to be respected. Our people deserve to be recognized. Our people don't deserve to be regarded as a second-hand citizen, as a Article 1608 XB of the United Nations specify that our people are a sovereign nation and that our sovereignty is not negotiable with La Republique. La Republique has no legal authority. When La Republique got their independence in 1960, Southern Cameroon was not part of La Republique. And so when the Southern Cameroon got their independence in 1960, La Republique wasn't part of that document. And so therefore, the United Nations had to stand and say, I recognize the people of Southern Cameroon. I recognize it. That's the document in my office that specifies that the people does not long need La Republique, who they should have, they should operate. The United Nations document doesn't specify that La Republique should detect on behalf of the Southern Cameroon. That is not what the document says. Our people should be able to elect their own people that govern themselves and not be dictated by a terrorist government of La Republique. Because we have a certain individual at the head of the United Nations called Antonio Guterres. He says he's from Portugal. And he knows the fundamental law of the United Nations. He should have stand and spoke out clearly. Because the incident is happening in Africa. And that is why it doesn't matter to them to stand and speak up. It is in African countries. Do you imagine that if the incident was happening in Europe, the United Nations General Session would have called immediately. United Nations General Session would have been called immediately and specified and tell all the law, and every national and TV station would have been speaking about the problem. But when it comes to African countries, it doesn't. United Nations, it doesn't matter to United Nations. It's not an obligation. They care less. But I am here to let Antonio Guterres that you must leave New York and return to Portugal. That is where you belong. You need to leave New York and return to Portugal. And let's have someone that is accountable. Antonio Guterres, you need to return to Portugal. That is where you belong. That is where you belong. Our people cannot be executed by a terrorist government that lacks authority over our people. Our people should be able to decide their future and their destiny. And there shouldn't be any squam. Imagine that that particular incident was happening in Europe. Immediate session would have been called in and discussed the matters. But when it comes to the matter of the black race, it doesn't concern the world community. So long as we have a Portugal at the head of the United Nations called Antonio Guterres, fellow brothers and sisters, I am here to let you know that we are at war and that La Republique will never conquer us. Fellow brothers, we are at war and the enemy will never in any circumstances conquer us. We need to let the world know their bias over African descent. Their bias over African descent. It's not. There is one thing that is clear. Why the Biafra are seeking for their independence in Nigeria? Their case is different. Their case is different. Our people are well recognized. A document specifies that we are a nation and that we deserve our sovereignty. We should be able to be on the bargaining table. And we have a certain terrorist individual will get up one single day and then assign a decree on behalf of the servant of our people. Fellow brothers, we will no longer be taking that rubbish from La Republique. We will not longer taking that rubbish from La Republique. We will no longer take that rubbish. And neither whoever should be in the south of Cameroon. We will no longer take that rubbish. Fellow brothers, we are at war. We are at war. Because we have a United Nations organization. That's the most bribing, corrupted body that we have on this planet. He is enriching himself and banish every critic that's trying to criticize him. That is Antonio Guterres here in New York, United States. Here in New York, in this our great nations. I forbid that we must stand together and get rid of the enemy. Antonio Guterres, he says he's from Portugal. Because in Portugal, he has fraud over Portugal. And that is why he transferred his fraudulence to the head of the United Nations. And when our people speak about the right document, it doesn't occur to him that he needs to recognize the document. That this is what the document specifies in my file. And you can imagine that the British court declared itself incompetent. The British court declared itself incompetent. If it is incompetent, why did they submit a document to La Republique if they were incompetent? Huh? The British Parliament or the British court declared itself incompetent over the people of Southern Cameroon. Incompetent. In Britain, is incompetent to hear the matters But we have someone at the helm of the United Nations that is the architect of bribery. I am sure his bank account, even the IRS no longer give him any tax because because the revenue is coming indirectly. So therefore, the IRS here in the United States no longer matter about it because it's just overwhelmed the IRS. The bribery that is coming from foreign nations to the Secretary General of the United Nations overwhelmed the IRS, and IRS don't worry about it. And that is the bribe that is coming from third world countries. And that is why the series of war is going on. Because IRS can no longer calculate the bribery that is coming to the United Nations Secretary General. Yes. And our people are being slaughtered. Our people are being slaughtered by a government that has no legal authority over the sovereignty of our people. I am here to let the United States government that our people will no longer take this rubbish. Our people will stand for their own sovereignty. Our people will no longer take this rubbish when bribery and become the architects of the United Nations Secretary General. And our people are being murdered indiscriminately. If we respect law, then we need to apply the law. He claimed that New York is the most dangerous place. That he left Portugal and came to the most dangerous place. So New York is the most dangerous place that United Nations Secretary General described. So New York is more dangerous than his own home country, the Portugal. But I am here to let the world know that our people will no longer take this rubbish. Our people must fight for their sovereignty. We don't need to have United Nations to dictate. And using our people over the feeding of his pocket. I'm sure this time the money that is being disbursed by this evil dictatorship to the United Nations scribe is not going to Portugal. It no longer comes to here because you're going to meet the IRS, because IRS will be ready with the arm waiting for the money and know where the money is coming from and who is behind the money. But unfortunately, in Portugal, no investigation is going on. So the money is diverted to Portugal. That is where he claimed that he is from the most beautiful place and came to the most worst dangerous place, New York. But I am here to let Antonio Guterres that he must return back to Portugal. Antonio Guterres, you must return and return the money to those who have been bribing you. You have violated the integrity of the United Nations. Our nation is specified. We are no longer seeking. Many people describe as secessionists. Do they understand the word secessionist? Do they understand the word secessionist? Are we seceding from who? From a terrorist government of La Republique? Article 1608 XV of the United Nations Charter, 1961, specified 64 nations voted overwhelmingly here in New York in 1961. So who our people seceding from? Seceding to a terrorist government? Is that what the world is seeing? Because the world turned a blind eye over the truth, and not to speak the truth, but to turn a blind eye and see the most evil nature of it. But I am here to let the world know that we must see the reality. We must see the reality. We must see the reality and speak of the reality. Our people cannot stand and you call us a secessionist. Seceding from who? If the United Nations voted and recognized La Republique in 1961, and they have voted to recognize our people. Even the British government declared itself incompetent because they have a terrorist. If the British government is incompetent, then the British government needs to file a competent case to the United Nations as a representative of the United Nations. That the case that brought up here in my hearing, and we don't have a jurisdiction over the case, and therefore we are asking you to hear the case on behalf of my former colony territory, Southern Cameroon territory. If the British is incompetent, if the British court declares itself incompetent, then they ought to file a memorandum to the United Nations as a permanent member of the Security Council. They ought to do that. If you are incompetent, then there is someone that is competent, And if there is someone that is competent, file a memorandum to that office and say, I am incompetent. Because I am incompetent, I have a competent organization at the United Nations. That is what La Republique, that is what the British government should have been doing. The British government, that's what they should be doing. File a competent. Since they are incompetent, if they are incompetent, then they ought to have an incompetent organization that should be take care of that. And here in New York, that is what the British permanent representative to the United Nations ought to be doing. And that the foreign government of the British government, that is all it should be doing. File a motion and request a hearing that a case has been brought before my own jurisdiction. Because I am incompetent, I believe that this hearing needs to occur. That is what the British government should be doing. That is what the British government should be doing. The foreign secretary. That is what they should be doing. Our people can no longer take this rubbish from a terrorist government of the neighboring country, La Republique, that is invading our people. Our people no longer have a place to stay called home. When La Republique thinks that they have the printed counterfeit called money and that they can use it and deceive our people. Fellow brothers and sisters, La Republique thinks that they have counterfeit that they have printed from La Republique thinks they have printed counterfeit from China and that they can use it and distribute it over our territory. I am here to let you know that any Southern Cameroon that correct those counterfeits, you shall vomit them in your own blood. For any Southern Cameroon that collected all those counterfeits that La Republique is distributing, you shall vomit it in your own blood. You shall vomit it. You shall vomit it. This is about our own territory. This is about the Southern Cameroon. This is about the sovereign nation. This is about our people. This is about a place we call home and not to be governed by a certain individual. So all those individuals you call the follow body and the follow whatever the form they are, I can assure you that you shall vomit it in your own blood if you collect anything from La Republique. If you do, you shall vomit it on your own blood. And for those who are still planning to collect, you shall vomit it in your own blood. We have got enough of this rubbish. Fellow brothers, we have got enough. We can no longer succumb to this rubbish. We can no longer succumb to this rubbish. So those who collect it shall vomit it in the blood, and they shall vomit it indeed. I am here to assure you that we will no longer succumb to this rubbish. Fellow brothers and sisters, wherever you are watching these messages, I am here to assure you that we are a free nation. We will no longer take any rubbish called authority from a neighboring country, La Republique. We should take our authority. Authority must derive from our own self, that we choose who we want to be governed, not somebody dictating how we should be governed. No, not in this moment, not in the future, not in any time soon. Not in any time soon. Not in any time soon. I am letting the British government file a motion to the Antonio Guterres that my court has declared incompetent. And since they have declared incompetent, I am here requesting a competent to recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon because they can no longer deal with La Republique and that they have already declared themselves and they have moved forward with their nation. It is my prerogative that I have made an error. I made an error by handing my document, the document that I received from this office, to the wrong person. That my motion is requesting that the people of Southern Cameroon be recognized and be put in place. Whether you allocate whatever money you allocate, that is not what we need. Money is not our prerogative, but what we need is to get rid of La Republique over the slaughtering of our people. That's what we need. We need you to recognize. We need the British government to recognize. We need the British government to recognize our people, that we are now a sovereign nation, and that we must stand, and that we will no longer have any masquerade of instruction coming from La Republique. Fellow brothers, I am here to assure you that we should be standing together firmly on our demand, and that La Republique need to relinquish its ever hold on the Southern Cameroon. And that when you see La Republique, wherever it is in what capacity, in the Southern Cameroon, know that he's an enemy. I renew my command that the Mongol Bridge, we need to relinquish that Mongol Bridge. I am renewed, fellow Southern Cameroon, that if you know that if you are a scientist, wherever you are in this planet, we need to talk to you. We need to talk to you. We need to talk to you. If you are a Southern Cameroon and you are from the scientific research in whatever capacity in this university, on this earth, on this planet, in sharing this message, we need to get hold of you. Because this is the moment that we will no longer tolerate the Republic over our people. We need to get rid of the Mongol Bridge. The Mongol Bridge, that is what is linking La Republique, that they can penetrate into our thing. And if you know that the railway that they have, that is linking the Southern Cameroon, you need to start uprooting the railway. Any railway in Southern Cameroon, you need to start uprooting them. That link La Republique. Fellow brothers, we are at war. We are at war. Any railway that links us with La Republique, you need to start uprooting them. Yes. No. We can no longer deal with this rubbish. Fellow brothers and sisters, we can no longer deal with this. Any railway that link us with La Republique, uprooted. No entry of La Republique into the Southern Cameroon territory from now and henceforth. There should be no movement of La Republique into the Southern Cameroon territory in whatever capacity. When you see any vehicle that is written CA, any vehicle CA, all Southern Cameroon penetrating into Southern Cameroon, we don't want them to penetrate. From now henceforth, we need to eliminate the Mongol Bridge. The Mongol Bridge that link us, that allow the ant to be able to crawl through our territory. The Mongol Bridge that allow the ant to be able to crawl and penetrate into our Southern Cameroon territory. This is the time that we must eliminate those bridges that allow the ant to crawl into the Southern Cameroon. Fellow brothers and sisters, we have got enough of La Republique. We have got enough. As you are hearing this statement, I am letting you know that the Mongol Bridge, for all the engineering that are on this planet, that were born and bred in Southern Cameroon, I need to get in contact with you, that we need to eliminate that bridge. That is the thing that we need to get rid of. And the entry of Santa into the Southern Cameroon. Fellow brothers, we can no longer have this rubbish. Our people have got enough of this. Our people have got enough. We can no longer tolerate of this rubbish. We can no longer tolerate. So if you see La Republique penetrating into Southern Cameroon, just know that the enemy is around, that the enemy is in our home, and that we need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of them. I have talked to you that the governor's office is our prime target. Once we bring that building down, once we bring any effigy of La Republique that stands as a monument of La Republique in Southern Cameroon, the CPD hall that is in Bamenda, please get rid of it. Any significant symbol that portrays La Republique in a Southern Cameroon, get rid of it. That is it. With any effigy that portrays La Republique in Southern Cameroon, get rid of it. That is the matter. That is it. We got to get rid of La Republique. Yes, we have got enough of this rubbish. We've got enough of this rubbish. Fellow brothers, I can assure you, let's live our own life at our own pace. Not that we've been detected by a neighboring country, La Republique. La Republique. Fellow brothers, when you see La Republique, when you see any effigy, when you see anything that specifies La Republique, then know that we are in the midst of the enemy and that we need to use our barrage of assault on that enemy, because that is the way we get rid of La Republique. We must stand. We got enough of this. We cannot even breathe our air. We cannot even walk our natural distance. Our mothers are living in the forest. Our sisters are delivering child and bleeding to death in the forest. And we have La Republique. They are living in their home. And yet we become their territory that they can use a barrage of and penetrate. Fellow brothers and sisters, if you live in Donga Mantum division, you got to have no entry and no exiting out. If you live in a Donga Mantum division, there should be no exit and there should be no entry. If you live in Bui, there should be no entry and there should be no exit out. That is the way to prevent La Republique from penetrating. Once you see any of them that escape into our, you need to use a barrage of whatever you take and to eliminate them once and for all, so that they will never have any thought in the back of their mind that they are coming back again. So if you live in Bui, there should be no exiting in and there should be no exiting out. If you live in Bui, for fellow brothers in Bui, if you live in Bui, there should be no entering and there should be no exiting out. That should be the top priority. If you are in Bui, there should be no exit, there should be no entry. That is the top priority. If you live in Donga Mantum division, there should be no entry and there should be no exiting out. If you live in Mezan, there should be no entry, and that is why Santa should be the first place. The entry. You know that within the past 56 years, they still have the custom in Santa. Do you know that? They still have it. They still have it. They still have the in Santa. They still have it in Santa that they have a control. They still recognize that the people of Southern Cameroon is different. If it was at the moment that when you leave, you have to travel to La Republique, you pay an entry fees and you pay an exiting fees, and that fees goes to La Republique. But yet they can enter into our territory. They don't have exiting and entry fees because they control us. They control their own aspect of life and they control our own aspect of life. But I am here, have a good news. Fellow brothers and sisters, there should be no entry and there should be no exiting out. For those in Santa, once you get rid of the bridge that when you leave Western Province and you just enter Santa, that bridge needs to be, and they should be checked out. And that another point is, I will advocate for the marine navigations. The marine navigations, you do not have everyone sleeping. There should be a night watchman, and that night watchman should have a surveillance to make sure that La Republique doesn't penetrate. Fellow brothers, we are at war. We can no longer relinquish our effort and allow the enemy to penetrate us. That mass query that they think they have released 287,000 Cameroon, and that will give them a pathway to control us again for another 56 years. No, the 56 years is enough. 56 years is enough. Our people should govern themselves. We do not need La Republique to govern us and how we should be governed. Fellow brothers, we are at war. We are at war. We are letting the United States Congress that our people has nothing to do with La Republique. Fellow United States Congress, I know the US Congress will be meeting. La Republique is no longer part of Southern Cameroon. The citizens of this wonderful nation, La Republique du Cameroun is no longer part of Southern Cameroon. Southern Cameroon is now a sovereign nation. And so anyone signing any legal document with La Republique, you are signing the wrong document with a different nation. Our people has moving forward. The Southern Cameroon, the former British trusted territory, is now a sovereign nation. And we're no longer dealing with La Republique. And so anyone dealing with La Republique is dealing with his own self. Because we have moving forward with the sovereignty of the people of Southern Cameroon. We have moved forward. We have moved forward. You can imagine our people for the past 56 years. We are controlled by a masquerade of a foreign government with the complicity of the French government. They believe that they can manipulate our people and control every aspect of our life. But I am here to let the world know that the people of Southern Cameroon has moving forward. They have declared their nation. Article 1608 of the United Nations Charter. Article 1608 of the United Nations Charter in 1961 specified that the people of Southern Cameroon is now a sovereign nation. And we do not need La Republique to dictate on how we should be governed. We do not need La Republique to dictate how we should be governed. We should be the one deciding what we want, what kind of government do we need. We do not need La Republique to dictate on us. Fellow brothers and sisters, why I am here speaking, that the entering of the Southern Cameroon, that Western Province Bridge, that bridge needs to be cut off. That bridge. There should be no movement of La Republique into the Southern Cameroon. They should terminate in their own territory. Let our people move on with our sovereignty. The Mongo Bridge in Littoral, that bridge should be terminated. Yes, it should be terminated. And then the governor's office, we need a barrage of everything we need to get rid of that governor's office. That is a colonial governor's office. That is where they can hide and look upon us as animals. No, at this moment, at this juncture that I'm speaking, we will no longer succumb to that rubbish. We will no longer succumb to that rubbish. Fellow brothers, we are a nation. We must take what belongs to our people and maintain what belongs to our people. We will no longer take that rubbish from La Republique. We will no longer. So while the United States Congress is meeting, we are letting the US Congress that the Southern Cameroon, United States in 1961, United States in 1961 voted at the United Nations General Assembly, United States representative at the General Assembly, holding here in New York in 1961, voted recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a sovereignty. So it is not by mistake that they can't use their word and say, I voted, and this is what the people want. I have no obligation to recognize them as a people of their own destiny. That is what the United States must stand for. Therefore, we are asking the U.S. Secretary of State, we are asking the U.S. to stand for obligation and respect the law. If we are a United States and we are people that will respect law, then we ought to respect the law. We ought to ask the United Nations. We ought to ask the United Nations. The U.S. Secretary of State ought to ask the United Nations. U.S. Secretary of State was a former CIA director. So CIA is familiar with what is going on in around Africa continent. CIA is not a new person in this field. The fact that he left CIA and become the Secretary of State of these great nations, he is not a new person on the field. He is not a new person on the field. He is well vested on the field. So therefore, he needs to stand and say, the United States has an obligation to recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a sovereign nation. Because the United States representative voted in 1961. The people of the United States voted in 1961. It is time for obligation necessary, recognition necessary, respect necessary. That is what the United States must stand for. That in 1961 we voted. Now the people are questioning that they do not recognize the relationship they had with La Republique. I have obligation to recognize them. That is where the United States start building a relationship with the new nations. That is where we should be moving forward. That is what the United States should be doing. And therefore, I am not the one to detect how the United States government operates, but I am saying they should speak on reality, speak on factual, recognize factual. That is what I am asking the United States government to recognize factual and deal with factual. Because by ignoring the factual, we are turning to chaos. The former U.S. Secretary of State for African Affairs, has stated that the 1961 vote in the United Nations did not give authority to La Republique over the people of Southern Cameroon. That is not what the documents specify. The U.S. former Secretary for African Affairs, that is what he said, that the United Nations in 1961 vote did not give the sovereignty over the neighboring country, La Republique Du Cameroun. And so we cannot have our barrage of our people, our mother, our children, our sisters, our women, I mean, indiscriminately murdered at a random. Fellow American citizens, our people are in painful. You may be seeing me shouting, you kind of wonder, is I am suffering from some kind of disease. But I hear you to speak the truth, that the world turned a blind eye as though nothing is happening. The world is in the most corrupted place. You have the United Nations. Maybe many of you that probably didn't study about world affairs may not be familiar with what is the United Nations. Many of you, they may not be familiar. What is the United Nations? United Nations is an organization that unfortunately is here in the United States. When the leadership of that United Nations, Antonio Guterres, is the architect of bribery, is the most corrupted individual, I can't imagine he still have the natural air to breathe here in the United States. I can't imagine. That's the most corrupted individual. He's collecting bribery, and through his appointed representative to foreign African nations, he is the most corrupted individual that we have on the planet. Antonio Guterres, the most corrupted individual we have on the planet. And I can't imagine that he's fiscally here in the United States. I can't. I mean, it is very unimaginable. It's very unimaginable that this corrupted individual is fiscally here in the United States. Is fiscally here. Oh, Lord. No, it's true that this corrupted individual is fiscally here in the United States. And I can't hold my breath when I look at that office. That they can't respect their own document. Thank you, thank you, Temi. Thank you. You know, I mean, it is sad. It is sad that we have here in the United States, the corrupted organization is physically here in the United States. It's not elsewhere. The United Nations. And I mean, it's very unbelievable. Because if the United Nations respect undocumented Article 1608 SV of the United Nations Charter specified in 1961, recognizing the people of Southern Cameroon as a nation. And therefore, United Nations has its duty and said, I cannot in any circumstance, I must abide by the law of the United Nations office, because that is the law, I must respect it. And that is the law, I must stand by it. That is the law we, the world, must abide by. But yet, he chooses to use his office to bribe for bribery. And he banished every individual that tried to criticize him within the United Nations office and prevent them access to the United Nations. And prevent them access to the United Nations. And you can imagine that is happening here in the United States. But I am here to let the world that our people are being slaughtered. Our people are being killed. Our people are being injustice. But we have the world body that is here in the United States. Because if this body was somewhere else, if the United Nations was in China, it wouldn't matter to me, because communist China is the most corrupted system. But here in the United States, where the law governs, you all remember the Kosovo crisis. For those who are not aware, the Kosovo crisis, it happened when the military unjustly slaughtered citizens indiscriminately. It takes the United States president, it takes Bill Clinton to stampede that fraudulent massacre of citizens. And some of them are being in jail today. Some of those leaders in the Kosovo are in jail. Because Bill Clinton stands for justice, the former president of the United States. He stands for justice. He declared war. That is not over my watch. I will not stand and watch the slaughtering of the people of Kosovo. I will not stand and see the murdering of the people of Kosovo. And he stood for justice. And he sent the U.S. Marine. And they were able to bring those individuals into justice. Today, the people of Kosovo, the crisis has all been stamped out. And the people of Kosovo are living in peace because someone does something exceptionally well. And I can imagine United States is writing a memorandum. Now, we have bypassed the period of writing memorandum. We are now in the phase of action. Fellow brothers, fellow United States citizens, you all know that each day when I stand out, it's just because the Facebook is blocking all the images. Otherwise, you will see the barrage of images that is showing on the Facebook about the slaughtering of our brothers and sisters back home. Our mother have been murdered indiscriminately by a government that has no authority over the sovereignty of our people. Imagine a woman, a girl. Imagine a girl that she's 17 years old. A 17-year-old girl just delivered a baby. He just stepped out of his home and was heading to buy some food for her child, for her little baby that she just delivered at 17 years old. And the evil military picked up this girl and took it to a behind a rotten environment and raped this girl. She will become unconscious. And if you understand that this girl at 17 that just delivered a baby and just stepped out to buy food for her little child and was raped to become unconscious, then you can imagine how many people were raping her of the neighboring country, La Republique military. That is the painful feeling. Imagine this woman that just delivered her baby in the midst of a forest, that you have the neighboring country, La Republique military, that has invaded and distorted our people. This girl, she was pregnant with twins. She was pregnant with two identical child. She was pregnant. She delivered in the forest and she bleed to death. And someone was able to rescue the two children. And today, she was buried in the midst of the forest. She bleed to death. Then you can understand the painful feeling that the world remained like an isolated place, that they don't understand that something actually terribly happening, and that you can imagine the world pay a deaf ear, and that you can imagine that the United Nations, whom we claim that is the United Nations office that stands for justice, for equality, for all humankind, but stood this time over bribery, over the humankind that the office ought to be advocating for. Fellow brothers and sisters, I can go on and on. What else do you want me to speak? The world is the most corrupted place. The British Supreme Court, whatever the Supreme Court, declare itself that it is incompetent to hear the case. Now that it is incompetent to hear the case of the Southern Cameroon document that the British government took and handed over to the wrong person rather than the people himself, instead of the British government to file a motion to the US, to the United Nations, that I made a mistake in 1961, gave the document to the wrong person, and that I recognize the people of Southern Cameroon, that they should be able to have their own nation, and that the document that I took, I want the document to be handed over to the rightful person. Imagine that you have, imagine that your dad signed a consent that you are the sole owner of his property. That consent was signed that you indicate to you that you are the owner, whether you're a son or your daughter. When you imagine that consent, the consent is a document that's signed. Your father signed that document and tell you that you are the rightful person. When I die, you should be one that deciding what my property, how they should be distributed. Your father give you that consent. When your father gives you the consent, it is you now to respect the terms of the consent. That I give you this consent, that you should be able to hold my property, and that you should give this to this person. It is your father, your mother speaking, that this concern is what I have initiated, that I give you authority, and that even the court will abide by that consent that you presented over behalf of your parents. But in this case, the British government violated that consent that the United Nations government gave, that the United Nations gave to the British government. That consent when it was given to the British violated that consent that was given. And he gave the consent to the wrongful person. And that is why our people are murdered this time. The British government gave the consent to the wrong person. And that is why our people are being slaughtered. Because the British government, the consent that was given to the United Nations gave to the British, that this consent I gave to you, that is for the people of Southern Cameroon, and that since you are the leadership of the people of Southern Cameroon, you have to give that consent to the rightful person. But the British government chose the wrong person and give that consent to the wrongful person. And that is why our people are indiscriminately slaughtered. And that is why the British court declared itself incompetent over the hearing, instead of the British government to file a motion to the United Nations that I did a boo-boo, that I, British, I did a boo-boo, I excavate on my part, and that I did the wrong thing that I have ever did, and that I am standing here, I am requesting for the United Nations that I recognize the people of Southern Cameroon and their quest that they no longer recognize the Republic. It is my obligation that since I took that document, I am now here to testify that I cannot. But instead, it declares itself that it's incompetent, because it's incompetent, but doesn't know where to direct the case. But I am here to let the fellow brothers that we will no longer take that for an answer. We will no longer take that for an answer, but we must stand together firmly, and we have our answer. And our answer, we have already know what it is. And we must stand for it. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are watching, that our people of Southern Cameroon, that we are in strong spirit, that we must face the enemy. We will no longer succumb to the enemy. Fellow brothers, I can assure you that we must stand together. We are stronger than ever before. Let not the differences overcome our goal, because our goal is clear. Our goal is clear: to retain our sovereignty and get rid of the enemy, La Republique du Cameroun. I want to take a moment to thank all of you that are watching. And for those who are not, as you follow up, I want you to recognize that the people of Southern Cameroon is now a sovereign nation. We are together in this business. I wish you all a wonderful, a blessed day. Thank you.